The applause stopped before I reached the stage. Retirement day. 32 years. I'd built half that company's systems, the other half stole the credit. My boss raised a glass. "To Harold," he said, "the man who tried." Laughter followed. My colleagues smirked, relieved it wasn't them. Then he said it, calmly, cruelly, worthless. He tossed it like a joke, but I heard the edge. He'd made $7 million off my code last year and still needed to crush me publicly. I stood there, smiling, pretending the joke didn't land, pretending not to notice the pity in the intern's eyes. Inside, everything slowed, every sound muffled. When it was over, I packed my desk, neatly, methodically. No emotion, just precision. I called one person, a friend I hadn't spoken to in years. I said 5 words: "I need one last favor." By the next morning, no one was laughing. My boss, Richard Lang, had always played the game well. Charisma, manipulation, the subtle art of humiliation disguised as leadership. He'd stolen my patents, buried my promotions, told me once over whiskey, "Loyal men like you are rare and replaceable." I learned then what power meant in his world. It wasn't earned, it was taken. Still, I stayed, out of pride, maybe fear, or habit. Sometimes endurance feels like strength, until you realize it's just paralysis. That night after the ceremony, I poured myself a drink and watched the city burn in its own reflection. I thought about every late night, every weekend missed, every idea I'd handed over believing it would buy respect. It hadn't. I'd been used, emptied, discarded. And that realization wasn't painful, it was clarifying. I wasn't angry anymore, I was awake. The plan began with silence. No sudden moves, no digital trace. Lang loved control. Numbers, projections, performance reports. He trusted systems because he believed he understood them. But I built them. I was the system. For 3 weeks before retirement, I'd left something dormant in the company's server. A harmless seed, invisible, quiet, waiting for one command. But revenge wasn't about chaos, it was about message. So before I left, I made sure every document tied to my final project, the one he'd claim as his, was rerouted to my personal archive, time-stamped, encrypted, and legally marked under my name. Lang wouldn't notice until the board meeting, until he needed it, and when he did, the truth would detonate in his hands. Still, something in me hesitated. Was I really doing this for justice, or because I couldn't stand leaving invisible? It didn't matter. Intentions don't rewrite history. Actions do. It happened the next morning. The entire office gathered outside Lang's door. Murmurs, confusion. His assistant was crying. The monitors inside his office displayed lines of code, looping endlessly. My code. Every version carried my signature, my timestamps, my author ID. And beside them, the message I'd written weeks earlier, knowing he'd open it today. This system belongs to the man you called worthless. The company's servers froze. The project files, his $7 million deal, were legally transferred to my patent repository. Ownership, verified, signed, and dated. Lang stormed into the hallway, red-faced, shouting orders. The IT team just stared. They couldn't undo it. One of them whispered, "He didn't do this alone. This is impossible." Lang saw me standing by the elevator, hands in my pockets. He didn't speak. Neither did I. Only our eyes met. And in his, I saw something new. Not anger, not fear. Recognition. He finally understood who he'd underestimated. I could have destroyed the company. That wasn't the point. I wanted him destroyed. Publicly, quietly. The kind of ruin that eats from the inside. By afternoon, the board had stripped him of authority pending investigation. They found discrepancies, manipulation of financials, hidden accounts tied to offshore storage. My digital fingerprints led them straight there, because I'd made sure his greed would do the rest. He'd signed everything himself, too confident to double-check the details. When he called me that night, his voice was broken. "You win," he said. I didn't reply. He whispered, "Please, Harold, don't." I hung up, because I already had. Now, I sit by the window of my small apartment overlooking the same city I once served in silence. The news says Lang resigned for personal reasons. Rumor is he's being investigated for embezzlement. I never confirmed it. Didn't need to. My favor, the call I made, was to an old agency contact. He handled the digital trail, made sure nothing traced back to me. I sleep well. Not because I won, but because I finally stopped needing his validation. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting them. It's about rewriting your own name in the story they tried to erase. Outside, the city hums. Anonymous. Indifferent. I sip my drink and watch the lights flicker across glass. For the first time in decades, I feel nothing. No anger, no triumph. Just silence. Clean, unbreakable silence. And that's enough.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.